Alright, we've got a 1-3 session here at Villa, kicking it off with pocket queens in the big blind, facing a button straddle and a small blind complete. We're going to raise this up to 25. We actually go 4 ways to a flop with the under the gun, low jack, as well as the small blind calling. So, $106 in the pot. Flop comes down, jack 7, 4, 2 diamonds. Checks to us. I would normally bet this for about 35, but I was just about to reach for chips, and the player to my left, I caught him out the corner of my eye. He was already reaching for chips, looking like he was going to bet, and he was a very bet-happy player. So I just check it over to check raise him, and unfortunately, he does go ahead and check as well. And then the low jack checks as well, so our plan backfired. So off to a turn, which is luckily the deuce of hearts. Pretty much changes nothing. Checks over to me. I'm going to start betting now. I'm going to size up a little bit. It doesn't seem like anyone has anything, so make it $50. Goes to the low jack, who's short. He's only got 125 behind. He just decides to stick it in. Small blind gets out the way. Nothing to do here but call. Looking for a blank river. It does come with a deuce of clubs. We show, and it's good. Good way to start off the session. Alright, we've gone from queens to eights. We're facing 2 limps. Definitely good enough to raise it up. We make it $18, and surprisingly, the small blind calls and everyone else folds. So, heads up to a flop, which comes down, ace, king, 4, rainbow. He checks it over to us. I'm going to start with a small bet here. Bet 15, and he makes a call. So off to a turn, which is the 3 of clubs. Checks it over. There's no sense in betting again here, so we're just going to check it back and hope for a good river, which comes 8 of diamonds. Better news, he bets pretty big here, $55. Yeah, we've got the best hand here. We are going to raise for value. The question is how much. He's got 150-ish behind. Pot's 130. Like, I think we could raise to 155, but and he's only got 47 behind. I think the only sizing here is a jam, so we go ahead and jam all in. Thinks about for a little bit, but unfortunately decides on a fold. It's not getting paid this one. Alright, gonna include some smaller hands in here just to see how I play on, not some massive pots. We're looking down at 4 limps. We got king, queen off on the button. Definitely gonna raise this up, make it 25. And only one of the limpers calls. So we're heads up to a flop, which comes down. Okay, it's jack 5, 4, 2 hearts. Checks it over to us. I don't think we can bet here. So we're just gonna check it back. Off to a turn. Jack of spades, it's pretty good. Makes it less likely she got a jack. She checks it over to us again. I'm just going to check this back one more time. And river is the 10 of diamonds. She once again checks it over to us. And now we could check it back. King high is pretty good. But she did limp and then call a pretty large open, like 25. So this is usually like a pocket pair. Like 2s, 3s, 6s, 7s, something like that. And I think we could check back ace highs. And then bluff with hands like this. Plus we rivered an open ender. So I'm going to go for it. $30 and pretty quickly gets a fold, so pretty happy with that one. Alright, a few hands later, we got ace jack off. We're going to raise this up to $12, and we get 4 callers, so 4 ways to a flop of jack 8, 6 rainbow. Nice. Checks to us. We're going to start with a small bet here, multi-way, make it 20. We get the cutoff as well as a big blind call, so 3 ways to a turn, which is not my favorite card. The 9 of clubs, so a few flush draws come in. There's a couple straights that completed, queen 10, 7, 10, so some gut shots got there, as well as 8, 9 just got there as well. So when it checks to me, I don't really like betting this 3 ways, so I'm just going to check this and see what happens. Cutoff pretty quickly moves all in, and then big blind folds. Just based on the speed they went all in, I'm feeling this is more weighted towards 8, 9. But at the same time, he could have so many pair plus straight draws. Right, there's jack 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 7, just so many. And I just can't be scared of like 8, 9. So we're going to toss in the call off to a river, which is amazing, the 6 of spades. So no longer need to fear 8, 9. We show our hand, and our opponent did indeed have 8, 9. So nice to run good there. From ace jack down to jack 9 suited, facing 2 limps. We're definitely going to open this up on the button, make it $18. Small blind calls. The middle position player calls, and the hijack folds. So 3-handed to a flop of queen 10, 6 with 2 diamonds. So we do have a nice open ender here. Checks to us. I'm definitely going to start off with a bet here, make it pretty small, $20, and they both call. Or sorry, middle position folds. So off to a turn, which is the 4 of clubs. Checks it over. She's got about like 200 and something-ish behind, and so I want to play it for stacks. This hand is really nice to bluff when diamonds miss as well, because you don't really want to bluff with diamonds on a missed flush draw. So we're going to size up to $80, and she pretty quickly folds. So pretty happy to take one of them down. All right, 8-6 of hearts in the big blind facing 2 limps. We could check our option, but I prefer the more aggressive route of raising it up, so I do make it 18, and they both call. So off to a flop of king 7-3 with 2 diamonds. Pretty miserable flop. We've only got a backdoor straight draw, but this is a flop that's going to miss them a lot. Right? They can only continue with diamonds or a king or maybe a 7, maybe some pocket pairs. So we're going to start off with a bet here, try to take it down. Unfortunately, they both call. So looking for a little bit of help on the turn, which does come in the form of the 9 of hearts. We're going to want to size up here, continue our bluff. They shouldn't really have too much, so I do bet pretty large, $85. And pretty quickly, they both fold. So straight draws are getting through. Okay, Under the Gun is a pretty tight player. This is only the second time I've seen her open raise. The first time she just open raised to 27. And she had pocket jacks, I had 10s, and didn't even want to call it pre-flop, but I can't fold 10s. Anyways, she's opened up to 15 this time, bit of a smaller sizing, so I'm a little bit less concerned. I make the call with king 9 of hearts in the cutoff, and then the button as well as the small blind come along. So we're four-handed to a really nice flop. Ace 7-3 with 2 hearts. Checks, and now she bets big. $55, pretty much pot. It's clear she's got something very strong here. But with this sizing, I really just think this is like a set. So I'm a little bit worried about aces right now. Although her pre-flop sizing didn't really indicate aces, but I don't know. Sizing just makes me feel like she's stronger than just ace-king here. So I'm going to toss in the call here. We're probably going to have to fold most turns. And they both fold. So heads up to a beautiful turn. The 8 of hearts. She checks it over to me. And I still think she's got a very strong hand, so we're going to size up here. We're going to make it $110. And she looks like she's going to fold, but then decides on a call. So we're off to a river, which is the 7 of hearts. Ugh, that is the worst river. Kills my action. And now we're losing to pocket aces. However, when I saw this card come down, I did not realize it paired the board. I somehow missed this again. I missed this again. I just saw the 7 of hearts and thought, okay, I still have the nuts. It's just less likely to get paid. So she actually shoves all in here for $250. And if I had known the board paired, this would have been different. I would have had to think about this a bit. I did not realize it was. I just double checked my hand. Yeah, I still have what I thought was the nuts and called. And she shows ace jack with a jack of hearts. I can't believe I missed that on the river. I probably would have still thought about it and then called just based on her pre-flop raise size. But still pretty embarrassing to miss a board pairing card for the second time on the river when it matters. Okay, this hand is weird. So we've got pocket kings in the small blind. The button straddle is on. And so there's a little bit of backstory here as to why I limped. The button has been playing insane. On one of the hands, I was in the big blind. I had king 10 of spades. Very excited to play the hand. Under the gun raised to 12. I think 4 callers. And then he just made it 150. 2 orbits later, I had ace queen of diamonds in the big blind. Someone raised to 15. 2 people called. And he just jammed all in for 287. And he's also done this a couple more times when he was button straddling and someone raised and there's a few callers. He would just go to crazy high amounts. So I'm just going to call here and wait for him to spaz out and just snap him off. So we're going to call $6. The big blind raises to 25. He's a reg player. He was talking about ranges earlier with me. It's like ranges polarizing or something. I can't remember what he's talking about. Now, Under the Gun wasn't actually supposed to get dealt in this hand. He was a table change, and he's like, oh no, I don't want to post. So the dealer accidentally dealt him in. So they fold his hand. So I wouldn't have had kings if it wasn't for that. Folds around to mid position, he makes the call. And then button, unfortunately, folds. And now we're going to spring the trap. So we don't have to go too big here. I don't want to go 125. I'm just going to go standard 3x plus 1. So I make it 100. Big blind's thinking for a bit. And then 4 bets us to 250. Middle position folds, and now it's back on us with pocket kings. Against any other player, this would just go into the muck right away. I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even lose any sleep over it. I don't even care to see what they had. I know it's aces. But this player knows about polarizing ranges. He knows about this. He sounded quite knowledgeable, so I do assume that he knows that we are playing 1-3-6, and this is only 100 big blinds, and that stack off ranges are going to be lighter. So I could see him having potentially queens, maybe ace king here, maybe jacks. I don't know. This might be a bit too much credit, because in straddled pots, I think a lot of people just think it's still 1-3 and that this is, you know, over 200 big blinds. But I keep thinking it over, and I just think we have to go with it here. Kind of sucks for $659, so I shove all in and he snap calls us, so he's got aces. No help on the flop, no help on the turn. River is the 6 of hearts, and he does indeed have the pocket aces. That is our first aces versus kings of the vlog. Unfortunate that it was for over 200 big blinds and we lost it. So nice hand, man. Very nice. That's episode 15. Still a little bit tilted. It's the first time I come back to playing poker that I've left the casino and, you know, not feeling great. The plan is just aligned for that last hand. Dealer dealt in someone that shouldn't have been dealt in. The button was very aggressive. The player had the second biggest stack at the table, as well as him being the only player I would stack off with kings versus aces there. And I think if the button wasn't so spewy and crazy, and I went raise 3-bet, I 4-bet, and then he 5-bet shoved, I think we only lose maybe 220 in that hand. But that's all right. We are in for 500, out for 390, so only $110 loss. It's not a big one. Our bankroll was at 4,065 to start this challenge. It is now down to 3,955. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.